Hey Taurus, welcome to your August 2018 tarot reading. Gotta remember to breathe with all the retrograde energies that are going through. Mars is hitting me hard. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling quite exhausted. Mars is probably for you, in terms of aspects, hitting you hardest in your career. So I feel that means when you think you're making headway, when you think you're making good decisions, you can be making good decisions, but they're not necessarily they're not going on a roll. They're not moving as quickly as you maybe want them to. Luckily for Taurus is a much more methodical sign. They don't need quick energy. They don't need things to go at 1,000,000 miles an hour to feel comfortable. If anything, it's the opposite. With retrograde energy, there is a postponing. It's sort of like when you're on, you see those news interviews on TV where they're talking to somebody, say you're in the United Kingdom and they're talking to someone in the States, and there's this moment of delay before the message comes, and that person's just sitting here blank. And then there's the response. It's kind of like that with retrogrades, and especially in career, you're maybe putting feelers out there if you've got an idea, if you're waiting to hear from an offer, and everything just feels like radio silence. It could mean that people that you're working with as well could be a little bit hesitant to take up something new. Not a lot of people are starting new things under this phase unless they really, really have to. So as well as that, we have the retrograding Mercury in your 4th house of home and family, and your relationship with your mother, your relationship with your environment, with the environment. Retrograding in that energy means you may be getting on each other's toes, your housemates, your family, those that you live with. Getting on each other's toes. Maybe you're having property issues. Maybe your pipes are bursting. Maybe you're finding your bills are a bit heavier this month in terms of where you are. And then, heavier energy, delayed energy. For a lot of people, the delays are in travel. With Mercury retrograde, and yours may actually be more in the home. Maybe you ordered a fridge and it's 5 months late. So 4 of Pentacles, holding your energy to yourself, keeping your opinions to yourself, keeping your feelings to yourself, and trying to save financially. It's sort of a restrictive energy with the 4 of Pentacles, very like this Mercury retrograde, very much like the Mars in retrograde. But Mercury is going to go direct on the 20th, so you'll see an ease up of pressure there in terms of communication. For the most part, I almost feel like you're having a moment of, it's better to say nothing, just don't say anything, don't chance it, hold your tongue, just leave it there. What's crossing you is the 3 of Pentacles, and you're holding your tongue because you're not seeing movement, you're not seeing growth. It may be to do with a relationship that is fresh, that has just begun, and you don't want to push the boat out, you don't want to scare anyone, you don't want to freak anybody out, so you're holding your tongue. It may also be that you are finding you had more money before, and maybe you've had to take a pay cut. The moon energy, though, suggests that your intuition is flagging up on something being hidden or being exposed. It may have been a third-party relationship with this card. It may just have been a relationship that was affected by outside circumstances and outside influence, distance, family, disagreements on the future, disagreements on finance. There was some kind of third party, and it's not always a person, Taurus, though it could have been. Worst case scenario, there could have been interference by a friend. But I'm actually seeing this more as you're leaning on your friends, as this is what's coming up. You're leaning on your friends at the moment in terms of your heartbreak, or if you've been through a breakup, because with the 3 of Swords it may suggest that you have, or you're going through a breakup at the moment. Now, 3rd house energy, friendships and things. The full moon in Pisces is going to be in that area of the sky for you on the 26th of August. So you may be finding that you're actually clearing out some friendships. You're maybe getting rid of the ones that are more negative. the ones that hold you back, or establishing who really is a friend to you in your current sphere. The full moon can be very revealing in terms of people's intentions and people's behavior. Maybe you've carried that one friend throughout your life that's been a negative influence, and it's because of familiarity. It's because of being a fixed sign that you hold on to it so tightly. And maybe it's never been healthy for you before. Maybe it's the same keeping in contact with a cousin or a family member that you really don't gel with, who makes you feel very uncomfortable, who makes you feel very unhappy. And it's not a positive energy, and you're thinking around the time of the full moon that it's good to get rid of these energies, sort of like a clear out. I see with death here, you're releasing something or someone in your environment. Could be a water sign, it could be a romance that hasn't progressed past the point of getting off the ground. I think for a lot of you, you seem to be in the throes of something new. And it's an uncomfortable place to be for a Taurus because it's not stable. And it's very uncertain. It's very unusual. It's very uncomfortable. And you're worried about being deceived. Now, the outcome card is the World, which is all about success. It's about attainment. It's about triumph over adversity. It's something reaching a happy conclusion. It could be moving from one side of the pendulum to another, whereby you're going into the month feeling very restricted and you're coming out of it feeling so free. The World card is an incredibly positive card, especially with the Ace of Swords underneath here. It's a brand new beginning. The World is the last card in the deck. It's very much a completion. But it's completion in a successful manner. It's celebrating how far you've come. It's celebrating what you know, particularly what you've learned. The World card is Saturn energy as well. It's Saturn energy, whereby you've learned a lot of lessons. You're finally learning something very significant here, Taurus, and I think it's in relation to your relationships and the ones you've been pulling through for familiarity rather than fulfillment. So as a fixed sign, as I say, you carry things on for longer. It's harder to remove yourself from situations that aren't working because it's what you know. It's where you are. It's familiar. The idea of not speaking to someone or knowing you're not going to be speaking to someone in the future, even if they've been a negative influence, is sometimes harder for Taurus because there's a cycle of behavior that's become routine. And the world is a cycle. The world is always turning. And sometimes we can get into cycles that become day to day when they don't have to be. You know? There's only a few things that you absolutely have to do in a day. You have to eat, you have to breathe, you have to sleep. You know? You don't have to keep in contact with that person if they're not making you happy. Or they don't add happiness. If they're deducting happiness, you know, you do the maths. It's not always necessary. There seems to be a transformation in your interpersonal relationships. And I feel like it's in particular with friendships or even romances that you've met online, because the 11th house for me is also social media. It's the communications we have online with people. You're getting your you've not been yourself lately. With the sun here, it's such a positive influence, but then what's crossing it is you, unless it is another earth sign, unless it's a Capricorn, unless it's a Virgo, because this is what's crossing you. Not feeling enlightened with the sun energy. The sun is all about enlightenment and fertility and warmth. So maybe some of you are feeling like you're not listening to your body. Maybe you feel like there's a time limit on some of the things you want to do in this life. Maybe some of you want to be mothers. Maybe some of you want to be married. And maybe where you are right now, it seems like a problem rather than a good thing. So that's sort of what I'm getting here. The 9 of Wands and the 9 of Cups. This is somewhat similar to Virgos. There is a false illusion that something is better than it seems. And I think it's in relation to where you are. I think you're feeling very much like, I would be happier if I had this. I would be happier if I had that. I should be at this point in my life, but I'm not. And that's incorrect, Taurus. Okay? Some of you have definitely had your heart broken by another earth sign, or you're in a relationship where you are feeling pain from another earth sign. It could be a Virgo, it could be a Capricorn, or it could be another Taurus. Now, you may be arguing over where you are in the relationship. There's an issue of timing here. There's an issue of status. So when I see the two combined, it's where are we? It's that conversation, and it's causing a few tricks. Now, you may be, of course, in a relationship with a water sign with this person, but this is kind of coming up in relation to the friendships. Maybe you have friends, and a friend is a water sign, a Pisces, Scorpio, or a Cancer that you're leaning on for emotional support. Maybe this is the friend that you're thinking of giving the heave-ho to. Judgment here. So you may be dealing with Scorpio energy with Judgment and the Death card. Somehow, I wonder, is a Scorpio influencing your life decisions, your life choices? Or is it a Scorpio that you're thinking of leaving behind, but you don't know? You're both fixed signs, so you don't know how to get past that. Who makes the move? Five of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Now we have an air sign in the mix. Could be an Aquarius with the world energy. But the Queen of Swords as a person can typically be, a lot of you are maybe choosing to value your independence above anything else. When I see the World card, I think of independence. I think of adventure. When I see the Queen of Swords, I very much am drawn to independence. Making your own decisions, making your own opinions heard, doing your own thing, going solo. You know, unless she comes up beside the King of Swords, I almost feel a little bit like some of you may choose to go it alone. Some of you may choose to leave relationships. Some of you may choose to spend some time by yourself, traveling even. Some of you may be deciding to take a long voyage overseas, booking yourself a holiday, taking a spa break. I see alone time, Taurus. I see some time on your own. But I also see relationships actually forming with new air signs, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. And I'm sort of leaning towards thinking this could be somebody from another country or another state. It seems to be somebody from afar, and they seem to be very they take no BS. So maybe this is you adopting that attitude of taking no BS, and you're just like, I want to be single because something fell apart. With the Tower card, it always means that. It always means something fell apart and left you out in the cold. Maybe somebody ghosted you. Maybe it was another earth sign. Maybe it was somebody that you thought was very compatible with you, and they suddenly pulled the plug after conversations, after communication, and you didn't see it coming. Now, this actually could have been an air sign too because of the page, but for the most part, I see this as somebody maybe you met online that suddenly disappeared, or somebody that seemed too good to be true and was. The High Priestess is here to trust your intuition on what it is that went wrong. The Three of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles, you may have been dealing with a third-party situation. You may have had a flare-up of information and intuition that alerted you to something that was very wrong in your relationship, and now you're in limbo. Maybe somebody ghosted you and you're still hanging on to hear from that person. Maybe somebody disappeared and you're still waiting to see if they come back. Maybe you're just waiting to see how things pan out and you're not taking any action because you're trying to heal rather than make a drastic decision, or you anticipate the healing that comes after. But there seems to be a level of anxiety here that I can't help but ignore. Anxiety about being alone, anxiety about moving forward, anxiety about trying something different. I think a lot of you have maybe come out of relationships or are thinking of coming out of relationships, and what's stopping you is being alone, or what's stopping you is the finality of these things. Maybe leaving behind friendships is stopping. But the interesting thing is you find your Ten of Cups moment after removing yourself from the Two of Swords moment, which is a stalemate, an indecisive energy, you find your comfort and security in making decisions for yourself rather than waiting for somebody else to leave. So if you're dealing with a ghoster or someone who's just broken your heart and you're trying to find a way to heal, the best thing you can do is take an action. The action that you take is dependent on what you want to happen. It's dependent on where you want to be. The World card, a lot of the time travel is endorsed, it's recommended. But also as the World card is completion, if there's somebody that you need to let go of, the full moon would be a good time to do so. I see a lot of anxiety surrounding not taking action. And I see success in being decisive and being a bit more ruthless in who you choose to have in your life, because the energies that you seem to be surrounded with are people that maybe put you down or are deceitful or gossipy or bickery. For a lot of you, there seems to be a couple of people in your life that meet that mold. And you're waiting to see if things get better. Maybe some of you are socializing more. Maybe some of you are taking your mind off it by partying. Maybe taking your mind off it by drinking. Maybe some of you are leaning too heavily on your friends and their opinions in terms of making your decisions. Some of you are possibly waiting for the return of a water sign. But with the World card, it suggests that you need to move into a new level. You need to move into a new realm. I'm going to draw one more clarifier for that. For Taurus. Ooh. Four of Wands. Some of you are progressing to a level of commitment, especially if dealing with an air sign. Maybe you're having a more committed energy with that person, or maybe you're simply committing to yourself and waiting for someone that meets this criteria. There seems to be a big change in the way you react to the relationship situations in your life, and it seems to me to be for the better, if I'm honest, Taurus. You seem to be getting a lot more comfortable with making decisions and a lot more comfortable with making changes. And then when the sun shifts into your 5th house of true love and romance and stuff, September is going to see you a much more frivolous and carefree energy as coming in by the World card here. Certainly from the 21st onwards, after Mercury goes direct in your 4th house, I think you're going to be seeing a lot more happiness in the home and a lot more happiness in your personal relationships. So I hope you enjoyed that reading, Taurus, and I'll see you in September. Bye.